Google Antigravity just changed coding forever, and you can use it for free. Google just dropped Antigravity, and it's insane. It's a free AI coding tool where agents build entire apps for you across editor, terminal, and browser. You give it one task, like build a flight tracker, and it plans, codes, and tests everything whilst you watch. And it works with Gemini 3, Claude Sonnet, and GPT models. Now today I'm going to show you exactly how it works, how to use it, etc. You can see this is a website, so you can actually download it for free at antigravity.google, and then you can get this for example, I can download it for Mac OS, and you can see here this is an agentic development platform evolving ID into the agentic era. So we're going to be testing out today, and I'll be walking you through the notes as well. So if you want to get all the video notes from today, plus the video tutorial, plus how you can use it for building websites and a 30-day plan, etc. That's all inside the AI Profit Boardroom. If you have any questions as we go along as well, feel free to ask, and we'll just get straight into this. So here is Google Antigravity. As you can see, you can switch between models here. Kind of reminds me of like Visual Studio Code. A lot of people call it like a cursor replacement as well. The difference, of course, is that you're using Gemini 3, and number 2, this is free to use up to certain credit limits. Some people are saying there's no limits at all. I believe there are some limits. You can't just code off it forever. And I'm going to show you exactly how to use it. If you have any prompts you want me to test out as well, if you're watching this live, feel free to ask too. And we'll just get straight into this. All right, so if we go inside here, we're going to open up a folder. So I'm just going to start a new folder here. Let's set up a new folder, and we'll just call this test project, like so. We're going to create that, hit that, open that up, and then I'm going to allow this, allow that, trust the authors. A lot of pop-ups coming up. And then once you've done that, you're going to see something that looks like this. Right now, we've opened up the folder. This is for our test project. And then from here, we can switch between planning and which mode we want to use, right? So you can use, for example, planning, or you can use like the agent responsive mode. So if you're just coming up with ideas for the project, you sort of want to jam it out, then you can select planning over here, and then you can start thinking about what you want to build, right? So let's say, for example, I want to create a AI SEO content creator. I'm going to type that in here. For blog posts that's sleek, modern, and interesting, we'll hit enter like so. We're going to use Gemini 3 High for this. And now you can see it's thinking, right? So it's coming up with this checklist for the whole project. It's like, right, here's the project setup. We're going to initialize via React project, install the dependencies. By the way, this is coding locally as well. You can also comment on the artifacts as well. So you can actually comment on different parts here, and then speak with the AI agent that's coding out for you. And even if you don't have any coding experience, this is quite a simple and easy process, right, to basically seal. We've got Imperial Tech here. It says, hi from Perth, Australia. Good to see you here. It's great to meet you. We're going to keep going through now. Now we've got the core UI implementation, logic and functionality, verification and polish. So basically what this has done is like planned out the whole process for us. And then it's beginning to sort of think about how it's going to create this project before we initialize it, right? Now what we can do is we can switch to fast mode on Gemini Pro High, right? And we can say, okay, code this out, right? And what it would start doing is using this to build out the project, right? So it's going to start building out and coding out the project using the plan that we've built out over here, right? And so if you have an idea for a SaaS tool that you want to create, then it's quite easy to start planning and building it out here. And then you've got the implementation plan as well, right? So inside this bit, this is really interesting too. So it's created a task checklist for coding out the project. And then we have the implementation plan, which basically shows us exactly what we're going to do during this project, right? So for example, goal description. It's like create a sleek, modern, and interesting SEO content creator web application. The interesting thing about this as well is like when you're coding this stuff out, right, you can see that basically you just give it very minimal prompting and it understands what you're doing and what you're trying to create, right? So literally all we said was like create an AI SEO content creator, and then it's planned out and built the whole project scope based on all of this. So it's pretty simple and easy to use. And even if you're not a coder, even if you're not great at doing this stuff, etc., it doesn't matter. You don't need to be, right? You can easily start using this, and you don't need to worry about any of this stuff, right? So we're going to wait for that to load. And that's beginning to code out the project. Then we're going to accept the command inputs on the right hand side here. I think we can actually set the settings so that it automatically implements all this stuff, right? So we can click on Turbo, for example, review policy. I can change to always proceed. Then we've got some advanced settings here. I'm just going to go with that. And that should just auto run without me now, which is pretty nice too. Now, whilst waiting for that to code out too, what we can do is click on extensions, and you can see all these different extensions that you can actually add into your project. So, for example, you've got like client, composer, debugger, extension pack for Java. You've got Go, all these different options for extensions. Then you've got the remote explorer, run and debug, the source control, and then the actual project, right? And you can see here it's beginning to build out all the individual files for the project as well. So these are going to be stored locally, which is great as well, because a lot of people prefer to create stuff locally and build stuff out. And then if you want to see the progress of the campaign and what's been coded so far, you can see this on the right hand side. So it's like, right, I am initializing the Vite project. I've handled the interactive prompt, and we'll now install the necessary dependencies, so Tailwind, CSS, frame of motion, Lucide, etc. Right now, it depends what you're building out here. If you want to create something a bit more complex, like a tool, that's going to take a bit more time to build out. If you're just doing something basic, like for example, maybe it's a website. A website will be very easy and quick to build with this sort of tool. So the speed depends on the complexity of the project, and also it depends what you're using. I would say in terms of model selection, Gemini 3 Pro is going to be your best option. Claude 4.5 Sonnet is pretty good too. GPT OSS I would never really use, honestly, but I think that's designed for local coding, so it's kind of like a SWE engineer. It's pretty simple and easy. So now it's configuring Tailwind and CSS, installing UI libraries. And now it's beginning to design the different features inside here too, right? So you can see it's creating the hero TSX, header, layout, etc. Basically just doing the design functionality as well. Now it can do front end and back end as well, which is pretty useful. But it's beginning to code that out nicely. The other thing I was wondering as well was like maybe you can actually code two different projects at the same time. So we can test out in a sec. Sportus Nutrition says this looks cool. Thanks very much. Yeah, I think Antigravity is looking really cool. I think there's a lot of amazing stuff you can do with it. And bear in mind, like, we're using it for free as well. So like you don't even have to pay for the APIs up to a certain limit. So it's implementing the copy functionality and verifying it now. And then what we can do is just open up a new folder here. And I'm going to pull up a previous folder that I actually created and coded with IDE over here. So if we click on trust the authors, yes, I trust them. We've got a website example here. Let's say open this up. And now we're opening up this website we've coded previously too. Now you can see sometimes you're going to reach a quota limit, but then it's going to keep going and just keep moving, right? So if you reach a quota limit, you can actually switch between models. So we could switch to Claude Sonnet 4.5, and it's launching the browser now as well. And what this can actually do is use a agentic browser to test things out, right? So if we go over here, we can just install this extension for the browser. We'll add that to Chrome. And this is Google's Antigravity browser extension, which allows you to test what you build inside the agentic browser, right? So you can see now we've got this example of the page that we've created, right? So what this allows you to do is you can code projects locally, then open them up directly inside your browser agentically using Antigravity, and you just type in what you want, right? And you can preview it, you can test it out, etc., right? And you can have two different projects running at the same time. Now, if you hit a quota limit, like I was saying before, like you can see here, then we just select another model, so we can switch over to, Gemini 3.5 over here. Click continue. And again, you can just keep switching. If you want to bypass all limits, there is a paid plan, I believe. But I've not seen, actually, it's not available yet. You can see here, so it is only free. You can only use a free plan, right? It says individual plan, $0 per month, team plan, notify when available, and enterprise plan is coming soon. But right now, there is no paid plan. So it is 100% free before, start posting. We've got some comments about whether I am the avatar version of me or the real version. This is the human version of me you're watching right now. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Happy to help. Good to see you here. And now it's beginning to work through that checklist that we built earlier. So this project right here is the SEO SaaS tool that we've built. Now we've got the previewing version of the website that we built that I actually opened up earlier. And there's a few things you can do, around this as well. This is interesting too. So, what you could actually do is, yes, you can preview this agentically inside the browser using the new Antigravity version that you've got. And if you see any bugs or things you don't like, for example, like that button doesn't make any sense, you can just go back over here, open that up inside your IDE, and then just say, okay, view services button is in the right color, change it to blue, for example, right? And just make it stand out. And then you can actually use the preview to identify the elements that you want to change on the page. Again, you may hit some quota limits. You just switch between them, especially if you're coding two things at the same time. But yeah. Probably not a good idea, actually, coding at the same time if you've got so many limits. But I just want to keep it entertaining for you and like switch between projects. Right, so we've switched now to GPT OSS because of the limits on Gemini, and now that's beginning to code out, as you can see. The interesting thing here is there's not really like limits as in like you can use it for free and then you have to pay, but it's more like there's limits where you have to wait like a few seconds or a minute before you can keep coding with the same model. So we're going to make those changes on the button for the page that we've just created. And it says, so the page will reflect the new color instantly. All right, let's see if that actually works. Is that actually going to... I feel like that it's not going to be that easy. Let's try and preview this. Yeah, I can't see that working. I'm going to say relaunch it in the browser now. So that's open it up in the browser. It says open in URL here. And let's say the buttons are blue though. I think it's good for you to see some of these errors. So for example, we asked it to change the button to blue. It told us the button is blue now, but you can clearly see it's not. So we're going to just keep changing that now. It's not really changed that, mate. So there's definitely some bugs there. You can see that it's not changed the button to blue, even though we've requested that. Actually, what it's done here, this is kind of a bug inside it. So we asked to change the view services button to blue. What it's actually done is changed the button on the menu to blue for services, as you can see. So there's still some bugs in there that are not particularly smart, and that might depend on the model as well. So we're using GPT OSS just because of the coding limitations, but you can see it's working over here. All right, let's see what questions we got. So yeah, Olaf Klein says, so are we seeing Julian Goldie himself today, not his avatar that I know from the videos? Yeah, I actually do live streams every single day. So like if you just want to see the human version of me, or you prefer like human videos from me, just check out the live streams. Go to YouTube and then Julian Goldie SEO, and then check out the live stream section. Sporter says, wow, Google is taking over, connects to GitHub. Yes, I believe it does. Elsa reposted the stream. Thank you very much, Elsa. And then Olaf says, I have a rough idea for a project, but I don't know yet which platform to use, which database, which author provider to host it. Can anyone help me with decision making? But that's the sort of stuff you want to check out inside the AI Profit Boardroom. So if you go to the AI Profit Boardroom over here, this is an awesome community where you can ask those sort of questions on the live stream, inside the coaching calls, and then also inside the community here. So you can find out, okay, what are people using for building similar projects to what you're building, right? And the cool thing about that is like you get to basically delegate your decision making to 1,700 people who are really interested in AI just like you are, right? So it's one of the best places to learn and grow, and really like discover more about this stuff and see what's working right now. We actually have video notes as well from today, so you can see we've got like a step-by-step process of what works, how it works, etc. A 30-day plan, etc. for using Antigravity and everything you need to know about it. A booking system, yeah. So I would check out the AI Profit Boardroom and try and get some help there. That's like the best place to learn, okay, what's working right now when it comes to building stuff. But I think if I was to pick one platform, you got to be careful if you're vibe coding, you're building a backend, right, with a database. You got to be really careful with security. So I would probably use, I would look into, for example, like Data Button, and also when you're coding it out, just ask the AI what are the best solutions for security, because that's going to be your biggest issue there, especially if people are logging in and that sort of thing. Like you need to protect your users and be careful of that. So let's come back to Antigravity over here. I'm going to close this website just so that we don't rinse the limits. And it says, I've completed the construction of your AI SEO content creator. The application is asleep, blah, blah, blah. And then we should be able to run it and check it over here. All right. Now, from what I can see, I'm going to say just test running that in the browser and just see if we can actually get that to work or not. And then I'm going to say, right, okay, we've got some issues. So I'm going to take a screenshot of this, go back to the IDE, paste that screenshot in. So you can see we've got the pasted screenshot over here. And say fix that. And it says, my apologies, I was using the incorrect tool name, blah, blah, blah. So let's see what it comes back with in a second. And let's see if we can get this working. I actually find, I've tested things like Claude Code as well. Honestly, I think like this style of coding is easier for me. I just hate using terminal. So, you've got other options like Claude Code. You could also use Visual Studio Code as well. I think the benefit of using Visual Studio Code versus using something like Antigravity from Google is that you can use different APIs and you won't have any limits there, right? Because you're using, for example, like OpenRouter to code out with that. But the problem is that a lot of those APIs are paid. And so it depends. You want this for free or do you want to do it fast? Because if you want to do it fast, then you can use paid APIs to help you build stuff out quickly. Otherwise, you may keep hitting limits as you switch between these different models. Olaf says, thanks for the hints, happy to help. Feel free to ask any questions you got as well. Anyone else watching, feel free to ask too. So we're going to accept those. Let's see if we can get this to work. So it's checking command status, doing the CSS config, waiting for the command completion. Sporter says, this error reminds me of Nana Banana. I have to start over for many changes. Windsurf remains my hero. I still know a lot of people using Windsurf, to be fair. Like, it's pretty popular. And then Olaf says, at the moment, I'm using open code over Claude, over Gemini CLI as well. Yeah, that's the other option that you can have, is you can use Gemini CLI as well. You don't have to use Antigravity. So let's go back to Antigravity now. And that is still not working. Right, I'm going to try and switch to Gemini 3 Pro. Then I'm going to open this up. Take a screenshot. Go back. Let's say fix this. I'd quite like to see what other people are building with this as well. So let's have a look on X and we'll see what people are creating. So see what people are vibe coding out right now. A lot of people are saying they're going to remove cursor. Let's have a look at some of these examples. Oh, boom shakalaka. Look at that bad boy. Now we're talking. So this is the new version of the tool that we just created, right? And that looks pretty sweet. To be fair, I mean, I don't even use the word sweet in my language, but that is a really nice, clean UI right there. So we've developed a SaaS tool, as you can see, pretty simple and easy. I don't know if it's actually going to be powered by GPT-4 Turbo. That seems like nonsense. But you can see here that it's coded the logo, the tool. It's looking super nice. And he's created the content for the page, the headline, the subheadline, the button, etc. Right? I have a feeling this is not connected to an API, so I have a feeling like this is not going to work when it comes to actually generating the content. But let's see, right? So I'll put SEO training over here. Then we'll put target keywords, ASEO, tone, professional. We can flick between all these different tones, and then we'll go for like short length, right? I'm going to hit generate content. Now, actually created. How is it creating that? What API are you using? That's crazy. Obviously, this is just a mock-up. So you can install an SDK, create a .env, and then replace it. Or I can just give it like an actual API key, right? So I think that's just using a mockup. If we go back to this tool, but it's tailored all the content to my keyword with the title, and then you've got the SEO score, word count, readability, keyword density. Now I think that's just a mock idea, so I don't think that's like actually created on the spot. You'd have to connect your own API, but you can see how easy it is to create your own SaaS tools now using this process, right? And because nobody has to log in, obviously you don't have to worry so much about security. If you were setting up a login where it's like a database and it's got people's users details or even like their payment details, then you need to be very, very careful. You can also click on like view demo here, start creating for free, and then yeah, you've got SEO content all ready to go. Pretty cool, pretty impressive. Let's have a look. The features of pricing about don't work. So this is a very, very early stage mockup, but you could say down inside Antigravity, okay, create the rest of the pages, or for example, connect my API with the SDK, blah, blah, blah. But that is looking nice, right? That is looking really nice. And then if you wanted to host this, what you can do is you can take the coded files. So you would take the folder here, and then you would upload that to something like Netlify. So you can take the folder files, upload it to Netlify, and then host it on Netlify, right? Because this is just running locally on a local host right now. But you can see how easy it is to create a tool, code it, design it, come up with an idea and tell it exactly what you want. And you don't need to be able to code to do this, right? And we did it all for free because we're using Antigravity, which is free and doesn't even have a pay plan right now. Pretty crazy. So let's have a look what we got. Olaf says, read the question about Git. The Explorer suggests a clone repository. So yes, it's built into AGY. What else we got? The benefits of AGY might be the inbox where background agents report back to you. This is a big plus over everything we have in CLI tools. Okay. And then how to clone my existing project from GitHub to my workspace, also how to deploy from Antigravity to Firebase, right? So basically, if you're thinking about like taking an app, right, and then take it and then send it over to Firebase Studio. So what you could do is just upload the files to Firebase Studio once you've coded them locally with Antigravity. So you take the local files, then you can upload them to Firebase Studio, and you can always say like export the files from Antigravity so that it's ready to upload to Firebase Studio as well. So that's how you can do it. No one uses XChat, okay. And then Sporter says, how do you get it to work? I think you've seen the process already today, but yeah, you can see how we got it to work basically by just switching APIs. So if you're using GPT OSS, it seems to be really buggy and not work properly. Whereas if you, for example, use the process I just showed you, it's going to be way faster and easier, right? And basically what you do is you just switch to Gemini instead. Gemini seems to be way better for creating that content. So that's essentially how it works. Now, what else would you like me to code for you? I'm going to come up with some other ideas in a second. Otherwise, we can have a look at what other people are creating as well. And then from there, we can start seeing if we can create something similar. So for example, what we got here, a clone of iOS with every single app is usable. That's pretty crazy. This is from Enjoy, by the way, this thread. That's interesting. Can you actually use let's have a look here. So Nana Banana Pro inside Antigravity. So Nana Banana Pro is rolling out now to Google Antigravity. How do you use it inside Antigravity? Let's see if we can actually create images inside Antigravity. So if we go back here, let's say, okay, create a logo in the chat because I can't see it inside. Here we've got Gemini Pro, Low, Sonnet, etc. Let's say use Nano Banana Pro and create a logo for my tool. See if you can actually do that. Yeah, it doesn't recognize it at all. Wait. It is generating an image here. Is that using Nano Banana Pro? I don't think I've got Nano Banana Pro inside here. But I know how I can use it. So I can either go to Gemini and I could say, right, okay, inside here, we can switch to create images with Nano Banana. And then as long as you've selected thinking with 3 Pro, that will use Nano Banana Pro, right? Whereas if you use Fast, that's just going to use the old version of Nano Banana. So if we switch to thinking with 3 Pro now, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a, I just saw what Antigravity created. It was funny. I'm going to come back to that in a sec. So if we go back to Nano Banana Pro here, plug that in. And then over here, we're going to say, okay, design a more beautiful website. This that looks more interesting and modern, right? And we should get a better UI. The other option you have for this is you can go to Stitch with Google. I actually got some training yesterday from inside the AI Profit Boardroom. So if you want like a full video tutorial and all my best trainings and resources, you can go inside there, right? But if we go back to Stitch here, we can do the same thing and we'll probably get better outputs because that's what it's designed for, right? It's designed to, you can plug in like a URL or you can upload images and then you can describe what you want, right? So we can, for example, take this, go back to Stitch, select try redesign for Nano Banana Pro. So we select redesign here, and then we're going to hit enter like so, right? And then you can also switch between web and app design, right? So if we go back here, we go to web design, right? So we plug that in, select Nano Banana Pro, type in our prompt, and then upload the screenshot of whatever we want to insert, right? So let's grab that screenshot, we'll copy that in, paste that image in here, hit enter on the blue sign, and then that will start redesigning our web design using Stitch with Google and Nano Banana Pro. Now, once that's done, we can either decide to change it more, or we can insert it into Antigravity to start creating a better page, right? So you can see this is the old version, and I think it's designing the new version over here. Now, if we go back to Google Gemini, we can do this inside the chat as well. So we've got the old version. This is the old version from Antigravity, that Antigravity designed. But if we go to the new version, we've got like a much cooler sort of interesting UI here. So if we copy that image now, then we go back to Antigravity, paste that in, and say, change the design to match this style instead on the app you've coded. And look, I don't know why, but for some reason, when we said can use Nano Banana Pro, it just created a logo for Nano Banana Pro. It doesn't make any sense. So I don't think I've got Nano Banana Pro inside the IDE, but maybe I'm missing something. So I think that still needs to be rolled out. Now, from here, we are using Gemini 3 Pro. We've inserted the image of the new design we want to create, and we've asked it to change that now, right? So you can see it's editing the tailwind, and it should edit the SAS tool so that it's redesigned to the new image we've asked for, right? Now, if we go back to Stitch, whilst we're waiting for that other design to be done, you can see we've got a totally new design here, which looks pretty cool. And if we wanted to add that in here, we could. But the only problem with that is I don't like it, because really we're not asking for a pricing section or testimonials, right? We need the tool to have the same UI as before. So I'm going to say, okay, redesign this page so it looks more modern and allows people to create SEO content with AI without logging in, right? Then create an Alex Hormozi style landing page selling the benefits of this tool. So now it's going to code with Stitch as well. In the meantime, we've hit the limit on Gemini Pro as always. So I'm going to switch to low, hit accept. Hopefully that keeps going now and doesn't hit the limit. So it's reached a quota for both Gemini low and high. So let's change to 4.5 Sonnet. See if that works. Look at that. We've got to wait till 9:30 a.m. to be able to continue using it. That is the biggest limitation of this. Now, I know it only came out like 2 days ago, so that makes sense. And to be fair, it has coded some pretty nice stuff. But just something to bear in mind there is like, be prepared to hit a lot of limits, right? So we've got the new design over here. I want to have a look. Yes, you can just type in your keyword at the top. And then what we can do is, well, I mean, you've got a few options here. You could share it, but you could actually just take screenshots of this. So if we download that or export it, right? So we can actually export it to AI Studio if we want, but we want to use this inside Antigravity. So we can download that as a zip, export. All right. And then we're going to go over to Antigravity over here. Hit accept all, and that'll start generating the outputs for the new design. And then we can upload that zip file in a second once the first version is done. I just want to see what it does with this new design that we've asked it to create in the meantime. Let's see what we got in the chat here. Whoa, we got a load of comments from Pablo. We'll come on to that in a sec. All right, so Unify says, legend brother, been following you for a long time, always dropping amazing alpha. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. You're a legend. Pablo has posted a lot of comments here, so we're going to run through them all. All the Google tools are great, but what is the real path to actually creating something market ready? There's always a step missing. How do you connect Stitch, an AI studio app, pay system, etc.? Right. So if you just want to collect payments, then you just set up Stripe. That's it. Simple as that. It does have limits, yet 100%. If you want to create like something market ready as well, like you just speak to your users, speak to your audience, and figure out what they want, right? Like, so for example, when we created the AI Profit Boardroom, every time someone left, we would ask them, why did you leave? And then we'd implement those improvements into the next version of the AI Profit Boardroom, right? So a lot of people saying, I feel overwhelmed. And so we created a focus manual to fix that problem, and no one ever complained about overwhelm again. So my main point here is like, you always want to be speaking to your audience. That is usually the missing step. And one thing that most people who work online don't like to do, because it involves a lot of work and speaking to customers, and that's kind of what they signed up for. They kind of signed up to working online because they wanted to avoid speaking to customers. But yeah, that's usually the most important step. It's like, if you know, most problems in your business can be fixed just by speaking to your customers. All of these YouTube guys is showing simple apps and mockups which are far from proper good SaaS tools. I mean, we're just coding this out today, right? It's just an example. But if you want to code like something really amazing, then just be prepared to sit down for 5 days and really just focus on it and create something crazy. Right? Olaf says yes, because they show off the new flashy features behind the scenes, planning for a solid app. A company, it still work. Yeah, 100%. Takes a lot of work, a lot of work. Just want an answer. I think you've got your answer. Would be good to know if we can actually even build a real product. 100% you can, right? If you look at, who was it? Peter Levels. Peter Levels created like multiple SaaS tools that he vibe coded, and then he put them on the market, and they're all doing pretty well now. So, you can create SaaS tools with these products, vibe code them out based on what your audience wants, and then the other thing that most people miss is the marketing, right? It's like, it doesn't matter how good your vibe coded tool is, you want to make sure that you're pushing it out as much as you can, right? You can have the best like SaaS tool in the world, but if you don't have any distribution, if you don't have any marketing, no one is ever going to see it or use it. No one's ever going to sign up to it. And so, like, if people don't sign up to it, how's that ever going to work for you in your business, right? So that's one of the most important parts as well as the marketing. Even once you built it, you need to market it like crazy, like crazy. So, how to make a website to run it on a PHP server? All Google tools when you do it on your computer. Why can't they produce the downloadable stuff? Yeah, you can ask to export it, right? Like, you code it locally, and then you can host it on a server. So, for example, like, I've created a lot of websites. Let me pull up one. So, for example, if you have a look at the AI Profit Boardroom's website, let me pull this up. This website right here, we vibe coded it with Manus, exported it from Manus, and then uploaded it to Netlify. And with Netlify, you can host the files, right? It's the same with Google's IDE. It's like you can grab the local files here, and then from there you can export them and host them on Netlify. So you don't have to host them locally. You just upload them to whatever you prefer to host them on. Pablo says, I didn't mean that. I meant, how do we vibe code a proper full product? So it works in a few simple steps, right? Let me pull this up. All right. So let's say, if you look at someone like Peter Levels, who created and vibe coded some pretty cool apps and has done really well with that. How did he do it, right? If you figure out what people want, that's step one, right? Speak to your customers. Then from there, step number 2 is you vibe code out and create a beta version. If you want to accept payments, use Stripe. And then step number 3 is marketing plus distribution. So you want to market it like crazy. Ideally, you build an audience, or you leverage influencers audience. Bear in mind, you can have the best tool in the world, but no marketing equals no customers. And then step number 4 is just iteration. Right, so get feedback, improve. Speak to people who are leaving, figure out why they churn, implement those changes to your next version. And then basically that's it, right? So you figure out what people want by speaking to your customers. You vibe code it out by creating a beta version, and you can use Stripe for accepting payments. Then from there, marketing and distribution. So you want to market like crazy. Ideally, you build an audience or you leverage other influencers, audiences, and you can have the best tool in the world, but no marketing equals no customers. So just be careful of that. And then iteration, right? So get feedback and improve. Speak to people who are leaving, figure out why they churn, and implement those changes to your next version. And that's basically the iterative process right here, right? And then this is kind of like a full process here, because once you've run through that and you got version 2, guess what? You're going to figure out what your customers want again, vibe code it out again, do more marketing distribution, right? So it's like a iterative cycle. But that's the process for building SaaS tools. That's what I commonly see. Pablo says, sure you can. My question before was also that direction. You need to know where you host your database, which authentication provided to use, how to back up and such. Yeah, you can get help on the profit boardroom for that. And then Master Blaster says, always tells me to make a local build to convert it to HTML, CSS. Yeah, so you can code it out locally, like I was saying, and then just upload it to Netlify to improve it. John says, is the real Julian? Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you guys realize, but I'm on YouTube like every single day for hours on the live streams, right? So if you go to the live section here, you can see like literally every single day I'm live on YouTube. So if you want to see the human version of me and see me create content and sweat it out, put all my time and energy into creating this stuff, you can. I create like dozens of hours of human content every week too, and then I also publish that content to my videos here as well once it's ready, right? So I create human content a lot too. I think people just don't realize that because they see so much of my avatar content. Pablo says, would you please share that account or user? I don't know what you mean. Oh, right. So you just go to, if you want to see an example of that, check out Peter Levels on X. He's pretty big on X, like he's a big influencer guy. Thanks for the help. Just type in Peter Levels on X. You have to use IDE. Master Blast says, Google stuff always recruit cool looking TSX stuff, but that's not working on PHP server. John says vibe coding can take a user around in circles in certain platforms, monitor tokens usage against results. Yeah, I mean, the good thing about using an IDE with Antigravity is that you don't get charged tokens. There's limits, but there's no, it's completely free, right? There's no pay plan available just yet. So that way you save money, right? Got some good tips from User Random. Would you create a tutorial of how to develop a full SaaS? Yeah, so if you go to, I actually built a job board on one of my tutorials here. So if you go to the AR Profit Boardroom, and then you're going to type in data button here. If you want to see me build out a full SaaS, you can see it inside this video. We've got a full step-by-step operating procedure as well for building that. And that's inside the AR Profit Boardroom, right? Link in the comments description. So if you go to Classroom, then you're going to scroll down, and then you go to the SOPs, and you'll see my full tutorial on how we did it, right? And we've actually got a custom GPT as well inside there for prompting these tools. So if you want to learn how to prompt them, if you want to see a video tutorial, if you want to see all my best trainings on AI, Like you can see the amount of training on the left hand side is wild, right? And if you also want to get like new trainings, then you can see we update the SOPs every single day, right? So all the stuff on like Nano Banana, Google Stitch, Google Gemini 3.0, etc. This is all inside the AI Profit Boardroom, along with the training on Antigravity. There we go. All right. So yeah, I think it's the only community where we upload new trainings every single day. Right? So you can join the AI Profit Boardroom community and then get help there. John says, reverse engineer by looking at searches and a subject, then look at the need rather than your idea by search led. Okay. What are the comparable tools to Antigravity, and why would you say Antigravity is better? So Antigravity is completely free right now, and also it's using Gemini 3.0, so that's why it's really good. Also, it's got an agentic browser built with it too. So that's 3 big benefits right there. What I would say the downfalls are is that like there's token limits, right? So you can see today, for example, we've hit the limits 3 different times, which is not great. So if you want to create tools without the token limits, then you can also build with Visual Studio Code. The only problem that you're going to find is like if you're running this on a laptop or a Mac that is quite old, then you're going to be restricted by the amount of power and speed you have on your laptop. And so if you're restricted, then you're probably better off using something like what could you use instead? Well, you could use Visual Studio. You could use online tools like Bolt, Lovable, Firebase Studio if you're building apps. AI Studio as well is pretty good for building stuff out. And these are all cloud-based, which means you're not limited by the power of your laptop. John says, analytics show what users are doing on your site, what is working against people interest. Yeah, you use Google Analytics for that. User Random says, I think this problem occurs for a lot of people. They start to test vibe coding. They can't publish it on their own server, so a video tutorial by Julian worth to make. As I've shown like a bunch of video tutorials today. Hi. And then Sporter says, Julian, why are you saying full SaaS with Debugging and not the Go Windsurf? I appear to have a good security and database straight from the Go Windsurf. I like Windsurf too. Do you know what? I stopped using it because it kept breaking on me. Windsurf. I completely stopped using it. It was kind of getting annoying. So that's why I stopped. And then other stuff came out like Gemini AI Studio, where you could code for free and you could build better stuff. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to switch over there. Right. And also, there were so many different IDEs around that it was just good to go. Damavicia says, is there anything you don't cover? I mean, I've dedicated like thousands of hours to my life at this point to learning AI. So I actually don't. I don't think this. I mean, I don't cover much NA10 content on YouTube anymore. The reason for that is like I don't talk about NA10 much because those videos are not doing so well on YouTube and people are not that interested. So I stopped talking about NA10. We have a lot of automations on that inside the AI. I mean, if you look over the course of 12 months, is there anything that we don't cover inside AI? I actually don't think so. I think we try and cover pretty much everything that we can to help as many people as we can, right? The more we help people, the better things are. So let's go back to Antigravity now. We'll check this out. So we're going to accept all. Let's just say, okay, preview this, see what we got. So it's going to preview and launch this on the agentic browser, and boom, we got the new version right here. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. So I would actually say that looks nicer than the original. Pretty simple and easy. Yeah, I don't think that. Yeah, it looks pretty nice, right? It looks pretty good. So that's the newer version. So that's how you can code out with Google Stitch as well, and that sort of thing. There we go. Nice. So I'm going to stop that now. So yeah, I mean, Google Antigravity is basically like opening, a magic door inside your computer. You type and the computer thinks for you. It's pretty simple and easy. I've shown you exactly how to code out whatever SaaS tool you have in mind, which is really interesting. There is so much you can do with it. It's pretty much endless. I want to see what else people have built with this as well. So let's go back to Antigravity. on X, see what else people have built. Well, that's my video. Look at that. Julian AI talking about anti-gravity too. That's interesting. So Abdul says he actually took the code from Windsurf and scanned it, and that seemed to fix a lot of bugs quickly. What else we got here? Yeah, a lot of people are using it for like bug fixing and that sort of thing. Okay. So what I'm going to try now is we'll go over to ChatGPT and say, okay, do you know what? Actually, I want to try this. So I'm going to take my landing page here from my backlink portal. Take that, screenshot it. We're going to open up a new project inside the IDE. So if we go to new window, and we'll close this old one. Let's close that. Fix off that. There we go. Open up a new folder. We'll call this new folder Julian website, Black Friday, SEO website, Black Friday. Open up. Then I'm going to say, right, paste that in. So we've got the screenshot here. And we're going to say, okay, create better, more modern version of this page, this landing page / one page website. Then I'm going to say direct all the traffic to my SEO checkout page for SEO services. URL equals that. And we should be good to go on that. All right. And we'll see what we can build out here. I want to switch back off, hit the limit, and all right, let's switch back to Claude Sonnet. You can actually check which ones you've hit the limit on. So you can see here, for example, Gemini High, not available until 9:34 a.m., right, which is 4 hours away for me. I'm an early riser. I'm doing this live stream super early. And then we've got another one, Gemini 3 Pro, that's not available until 9:34 a.m. So it's loading it right here. But yeah, you can use this for like website redesign, apps, SaaS tools, etc. Just give it whatever idea you want. Now, I mean, some people are going to say, right, I'm not smart enough to use AI tools, but you know, anti-gravity understands whatever you want without having to really be very clear about what you want, right? Like if you have an idea, you're good to go. Pilgrim says Julian is back. I'm back every day, mate. I'm back every day. I do live streams every day, and I put it inside the description of my videos. Like, join me on the live streams. But it's good to see you here, Pilgrim Creates. Thank you very much for joining. Yeah, so you can just basically give this what you want. Another one is some people say like anti-gravity is a little bit overwhelming, but you can literally just type in one sentence into anti-gravity, and it'll basically give you exactly what you want, as you've seen today. Some people say I'm scared of like breaking something, but anti-gravity actually keeps your history of what you've created, so you can like just go back and undo what you've done previously. Some people say it looks too advanced, but even though this tool can be advanced, you can use it in a really simple way too. And also this works with like any normal file, so you don't need to be a coder or anything like that. Yeah, and the other cool thing is it's hosted locally as well, so you know you can come back to it when you want. You've got privacy and that sort of thing. Now I want to show you this. 30-day plan as well, right? So I would, I would test out for like 1 to 3 days, just give it some small tasks. Then day 4 to 7, sort of help, let it help you fix things, ask it why it made certain changes, start looking at the explanations. And then, day 8 to 14, you can start building out a real project, let it organize all the messy side of things and ask it to explain the whole system to you too. Then you can build new features. Maybe day 15 to 20, you build one new feature or one new feature a day. And you can also then start using like the browser, the terminal, the editor. And yeah, you can learn this stuff in like 30 days. Pretty simple and easy. So let's see what we got back here. Antigravity is still coding out there. I think it's a little bit slow with Claude 4.5 to be honest, especially when you're starting that new project from scratch. We got Igor. Hello Igor, good to see you here. And if we go back to Antigravity now, it's beginning to create the foundations. So we've pasted in that screenshot, giving it ideas of what we want. But again, like if it's a brand new project from scratch, it may take a little while, right, to really start coming back here. And then you can open up previous projects here as well. So if you right click the icon, you've got your window that's actually open with your project. And then you can open up these test projects here. So I could open up my website or the Black Friday website or the test project as a folder inside the IDE too. And again, you can switch between planning and fast here too. Right? So now it's beginning to code that out. It's giving us all the code inside the index HTML. That's just creating the foundation. Obviously, it needs to create the CSS and everything else. I can accept the changes there, and then it will keep going. Someone's asking, like, does it have usage limits? So yeah, like you have limits on each of the APIs you use. Now, these are free APIs you're using, but you can see that I can't use Gemini 3.0 for like 3 hours now or 5 hours. So these two I can't use for a while. Claude, so it's actually 4 hours I can't use it for because it's not. It tells you when it's available, right? So it says you have reached a quota limit for Gemini 3 Pro. Low, you can resume using this model at 9:34 a.m., which is not great. That is not great. So I'm kind of locked out from improving it with Gemini 3 for 4 hours. And then Claude Sonnet and Claude 4.5 Sonnet Thinking and GPT OSS I can still use in the meantime. But the problem is they're not as good at coding, right? So that's one of the biggest issues you're going to find. Pilgrim says, "I know I used to follow you and watch you, but I started seeing AI avatar videos and then stopped watching. But let's see you again. Well, it's good to have you back. Thanks for watching. Again, like you can just watch the live streams if you want, and then you skip all the AI avatar stuff." Quintero says, "Hello from Miami. Good to see you. Hola." And then Carl gives the fist emoji. Yeah, I've already covered the usage limits. Does it have a minimum model which you can use when all your limits are full? Yeah, so it'd be GPT OSS that you would use for that, right? So for the minimum model, you use GPT OSS. So, I mean, the thing is right now, probably from everything that you've seen right now, like you're probably spending about 40 hours a week doing tasks that AI could handle in minutes. So from what I see inside the comments and everything else today, like a lot of people are struggling with AI. If you need help with this, like check out the AI profit boardroom. All right. So for example, we've got inside the AI profit boardroom, we have the AI automation blueprint. And basically this shows you how to build AI systems that run on autopilot so you can stop wasting time on repetitive tasks. So for example, if we go inside the AI profit boardroom here, you can see automations for content creation, lead generation, shorts, etc., AI avatar videos. These are all sorts of things that are included inside the community. We also have the advanced Facebook ads growth training. So this is my complete playbook for building engaged audiences and active communities on Facebook. On top of that, you get the school community building training. So yeah, if you actually type in school here, you get tons of training on how I've built communities with school if you want to learn this stuff yourself, as you can see. And then I'll basically show you how I built and scaled multiple thriving communities at schools. So like the setup, the structure, the engagement tactics, and everything else. Top of that, you're going to get the 100M AI content machine. So this is where you can take one single idea and turn it into over 100 pieces of content across every single platform. So you've probably seen me on X, maybe you've seen me on Instagram, maybe on Facebook ads, maybe on LinkedIn, on YouTube, on multiple different channels on YouTube, etc. Basically, this machine here shows you exactly how to do it. And how to save over 20 hours per week doing this, right? And then you also get the high ticket service delivery formula. So this is the process that I've used to scale AI automation services to clients. So you get all my frameworks, delivery systems, communication templates, etc. inside the AI Profit Boardroom. You also get the AI avatar content system. So you're going to learn how to build AI avatars to create content for you that sound like you and post for you, right? So for example, if you have a look at my YouTube channel, these videos are all like AI avatar videos. They get thousands of views. They reach millions of people, and we've automated. We've got a great system for automating this stuff, right? What else we got here? So you also get the school empire system. So this shows you how I built school communities with AI, all the funnels that I built, etc. The Twitter growth system as well. So if you've seen me on Twitter, for example, you've probably seen my AI content. We reach, again, millions of people per month on X, and we're constantly publishing content, which is automated with AI. You get all those systems inside the AI Profit Boardroom too. And then also you get the AI workflow vault, so you get access to over 1,000 pre-built NA10 automations. You get daily Q&As with me, so you can ask me anything about AI automation or building your business. And if it's something complicated, I actually create a video and help you with the answer. Top of that, you get unlimited tech support. So you get unlimited tech support where you can get help with any issues inside the AI Profit Boardroom. You can just create a thread, get fast answers, etc. So if you have a look here, for example, people are posting and asking for help and stuff like that. For example, like Steve, he actually set up a new YouTube channel with AI and reached over 200,000 people, which is pretty crazy. You can see all these different posts that people are creating and sharing, and then they get help and support from our community. All right. You also get weekly coaching calls. So you get weekly coaching calls where you can show up, ask questions, get feedback, and watch me work through problems in real time along with my team. We'll help you during those live calls. We have a bunch of giveaways, and that's everything you get, right? So you get the AI automation blueprint, the Facebook growth training, the school community system, the 100M content machine, the service delivery formula, the AI avatar system, the school empire training, the Twitter growth system, over 1,000 pre-built workflows, daily Q&As with me, unlimited tech support, and 5 live coaching calls a week plus monthly giveaways. And if you sign up now on their Black Friday deal, which is only available for a few more hours, then you will save 35% forever, right? So you sign up to that price now, and then you lock in your 35% discount forever by signing up here. Right? You just sign up to the AI Profit Boardroom, link in the comments and description to get that. So it's an absolute steal right now. What we got here? It says, hello mate, CLI or IDE, which one do you prefer? I use IDE. I don't really like CLI, right? The supporter says, I'm not sure if you complete demographic, but I don't see anyone coding teaching on Rumble. We're actually on Rumble. We upload videos every day to Rumble. Honestly, we don't really get much traction, so like from what I've seen, the same videos that we publish on YouTube and get thousands of views, we barely get anything on the AirPof on Rumble. So just something to be aware of. But yeah, let's keep going through now. So if we go back to Antigravity here, we've plugged in the details of our landing page that we want to create. Then we said create a better, more modern version of the landing page, blah, 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 direct all the traffic here. This is the URL. And if we click on view, we can see the landing page and we can see the AI scrolling through it, right? Now that landing page looks so much nicer than the original. If you want to actually open it up, you can open it up inside the agentic browser, which you can see. All right, so this is the example page. If you scroll up, it's got the details here. So it looks super nice. It gives us the code to use. If we click on this link, it should take us to the checkout page. By the way, this is a real deal, right? So if you actually want help with AI SEO, feel free to order online. Link in the comments description. But yeah, you can order online. We've got a huge Black Friday deal right now for 30% off. So if you type in Black Friday on the checkout page, you will save 30% when you order here. And then you can use select whichever package you want. So you can select like backlinks here. So you can say, right, okay, I want 5 or 7 backlinks for my website, apply the code, and then boom, you can get access. This is way, way cheaper than our normal agency service as well, because you order it online. And then you can also select multiple packages. So you could go with the SEO starter package, the SEO power pack, or the premium pack as well. And then you just fill in your details here and you can pay online, right? So if we have a look at this page, this looks a lot nicer than the original, right? So if we go back to, let me show you what the original looked like. So if we open up, this is the original page with the YouTube video, the headline, etc. It looks okay, but it's a little bit messy when it comes to the design and everything else, right? Whereas if we have a look at the new design, this is the new version. It looks a lot nicer, right? Everything's aligned, it's all cleaned up, it's all tidy, etc. Yeah, it's looking really good now. And then you can actually insert a demo video here. It just looks a lot cleaner, right? And I think that demonstrates a lot more trust. It's taken exactly the same copy, but it's just redesigned it with our brand colors. It's even, for example, it's even included like some of the benefits that I didn't mention previously. Got the limited time offer, testimonials, and then the CTAs. I would say that's a much nicer design page, especially this section right here. It looks super nice. Let's try and preview it on mobile if we can. Can we preview on mobile? We can change the device here. Yeah, there we go. So this is the version on mobile here. And then we can scroll down. It's not looking as good on mobile, to be honest with you, but we've redesigned the whole page there. So it's pretty simple and easy to do this. Supporter says that's a pretty well done site from one single prompt. Yeah, I agree with you there. I think that looks pretty nice. So yeah, you can build websites pretty quickly. I mean, like building websites used to be a nightmare, whereas now you can easily just create them in one single prompt, like I've shown you today, and you type in simple words, whatever you want, and it just fixes things. I used to spend like hours fixing this sort of stuff, and you get buses a break, layouts look weird, code that makes no sense, etc. But with anti-gravity, that saves a lot of time. So it's way faster. And again, like some people say I'm not good at coding, but anti-gravity basically writes the code for you. Some people say websites look too complex, but anti-gravity basically explains it to you like a teacher if you ask it. Yeah, and it's super fast and easy to do. Now, I think you could really use this for SEO as well to create like microsites. So you can see, for example, this is a website where we're publishing content consistently. We have multiple different websites we're doing this on, like AI Boardroom as well. You can see some examples of the traffic we get to this website. So within the last 3 months, you can see we get thousands of clicks here. But basically, we could use this and then create content across multiple different platforms. I want to find another example here. Yeah, so this is another website as well. But I think you could really leverage anti-gravity to create microsites for you. So what you could actually do if you wanted to use Google anti-gravity for SEO is you could go to Ahrefs, find some keywords where you can build little microsites around. So for example, let's say, I don't know, SEO training, something like that, right? And you can create a little microsite based on like some low competition keywords. So if we have a look here, we're going to type in like KD10 or less. Let's see what we got. Maybe KD20 or less. Let's have a look here, see what we can create content. All right, so like Enterprise SEO ROI Calculator. I think that's a website that I own and vibe coded with AI, right? So if we click on book a free strategy session, it funnels traffic to our book a call page, right? And it's ranking #1 for that keyword. So if we go onto Google here, you can see us ranking #1 even after we coded it like about a year ago. Let's open this up in a new incognito just to make sure. Yes, you can see us ranking #1 for that keyword, right? And the way that we did this and vibe coded out is we actually used bold previously, but basically what you want to do is just find low competition keywords, right? So ideally like keyword difficulty 10 or less. You can find a bunch of microsite ideas here. So for example, like SEO, like calculator, whatever your niche is, just type in your niche and then calculator. So I have an SEO agency, so that's why I'm doing SEO. And then from here, we can pick out different keywords we want to rank for. So for example, SEO cost calculator tool, right? Now what we can do is we can go back over to Antigravity. We can start up a new project. So I'm going to click on new window here. We'll close the old one. So I'm going to X off the old one here. Click on open folder, new folder, type in the keyword of the microsite I'm going to create. So SEO cost calculator tool. Hit open. Then from here, what we can do is we can say, okay, create a beautiful landing page website, modern, etc., optimized for the keyword equals, right? And then we're going to say funnel traffic to my SEO agency book a call page here, right? And then write out the landing page copy, selling SEO services as Goldie Agency and funneling traffic to book a call with us, right? And then what you can actually do is put in your brand colors as well. So I'm going to just write that there. There's our brand colors. So put brand colors here. There we go. Hit enter. And then we can just vibe code out a landing page or microsite pretty quickly. Vibe code that out, host it on Netlify wherever you want, code it out locally, and then start ranking on Google, right? Pretty simple and easy. So if you're wondering, okay, like, can you find easy keywords to rank for? Using this, absolutely, right? I've shown you, even in the SEO industry, which is a pretty difficult niche to rank in, you can see how easy it was for me to find low competition keywords that we can create and rank. Can we actually rank on Google for those target keywords? Absolutely, right? So this is a page that we created a year ago. It's a calculator ranking for that keyword. It funnels traffic to my funnels here. And it's really easy to build out these SEO sites using Antigravity, right? It's even outranking, for example, Ahrefs or even my main website. So it's outranking juliangoldie.com. It's outranking Ahrefs, which is a super powerful website. And we've done it using this process here, right? Pretty simple and easy. And it gets like 4,000 impressions. Doesn't get a lot of clicks, but you can see how it works, right? And then if you want to actually code this out, you can use Antigravity. How would you do it? You use a prompt like this. If you want to get that prompt, I'll put it inside the AI Profit Boardroom. So let me go inside here. Example prompt for websites. And we'll plug it in. There we go. Hit save, boom. So if we go back to Antigravity, that's coding out here. And now it's just working on building that out step by step. It might take a few minutes, as we've seen today, but it's pretty easy. You could also use Bolt, you could use Lovable, etc. I'm just going to close this one down. There we go. We're using Claude Sonnet again because those limits have been hit on Gemini 3. So we can't use Gemini 3 Pro for like 4 hours. So just be aware that you can hit limits pretty quickly. And actually, if I was doing this all over again, I'd probably start with planning mode. So switch to planning mode inside Antigravity first, and then you can use fast mode later for Antigravity. MD says, hey Julian, I also participated in your beautiful live. Did you find me? Well, it's good to see you here, MD. Thanks for joining. I'll see you if you post a comment, like I can easily see. So I appreciate you joining. And then Sporter says low competition keywords, you would only pick one per microsite. Absolutely. All right. So if we go back now, for example, like here, right? Here you would just pick one of these keywords. So you're not going to try and rank for SEO ROI calculator and enterprise SEO ROI calculator. You would only pick one, right? And inside the URL, you want it to be exact match. So for example, if we're targeting this keyword, enterprise SEO ROI calculator, then inside the domain, we're going to put that domain.com, right? So that we can start ranking for it. And then you just want to make sure as well you can monetize this. So for example, if I have an SEO agency, I'm going to rank for SEO keywords because typically people who are searching for SEO problems on Google need help with SEO, right? So it's now building this out and we should get that back in a second. It's creating the index HTML here. So you can preview the code on this side and you can see the files on the left-hand side. I also like the fact that it's just so clean and easy to use this stuff, which is pretty nice. And then you can also reveal in Finder, right? So if you want to find this inside your Finder and just see the actual file itself, you just go to reveal in Finder. You can also copy the relative path. You can reopen the editor as well. But yeah, that's basically how it works. And then it's coding out, right, as you can see here. So I think what it will do next is code their CSS. We'll see how that goes. And then the other thing you want to do here as well is like with this website, we have a look at this site that's ranking #1 for this keyword, right? We want to put the URL into Ahrefs. And you can see that we've built 33 backlinks to this page, right? So you can see the organic traffic for this page here. The organic traffic has grown as we build more backlinks to it, right? How do we build backlinks to it? We just build backlinks from, there's actually a few like automated websites here, so I'm just going to go with one link per domain, do follow, show results. There we go. All right. So what we do is we find relevant pieces of content and we link that to the website, right? So from here to here. And if you're wondering, okay, what are backlinks or what do they look like, etc. So you can see that's an example of a backlink. It's just a clickable text from one website to another. We've built it from our site. That powers up our site, right? Pretty simple and easy. And the more backlinks you have from relevant authoritative sources, so this is a website about SEO, we've built links to this page about SEO, the more power that website has. So for example, from juliangolder.com, from juliangolder.co.uk, we've linked directly to this ROI calculator page, right? Pretty simple. That's the way that I like to look at SEO as well. It's just like, make it as simple as possible. So I'm going to say, okay, is this still coding out? It seems to have got stuck. I'm going to say preview this now. See if we can preview it out. What else we got here? Pierre says, hi, Julian, good to see you again in live. Good to see you here too, Pierre. Bout says, that's why Windsurf merged with Google. I'll have to leave now. All right, good luck. Pierre, have a great day. And I wish you all the success too. Thanks very much. Legend. All right, so basically this has got to create the CSS first. So if we go back to Antigravity here, it's still got to create the CSS. And again, the quality of the CSS, the quality of the website itself will depend on the API you use. So Claude 4.5 Sonnet, I would expect the API to be pretty nice for coding, but GPT OSS, I think you're not going to get the best results from that, to be honest. You can also see there's an update available for this, so if you restart to update, you can get that access right there. But yeah, that's basically how it works, right? I'm not going to wait forever for that to code, but you can see how easy this is to do. And then from here, if you wanted to host this stuff, what you're going to do is just open up the folder you want to host it on. So for example, like Julian Gordy website, as you can see, right, this is a page with Vibe coded out, little microsite again. And you would just go over to Netlify, log in, I might have to log in with GitHub, to be honest. There we go. And then I've just got to get a verification code in the background. And then once you're logged in to Netlify, you can just upload your project files, right? So for example, Julian Goldie Automation, this is a website we uploaded earlier. You can see the page right here. And the way this works is you just go to projects, add new project, import an existing project, try Netlify drop, and then grab the folder from locally that Antigravity is coded out, right? And so for example, like this, we've got the folder right here, and you just grab that folder and plug it into Netlify, right? So you just grab that folder and then you can drop it in like that, yeah? And that's going to upload your SEO calculator, whatever you created, and then deploy it online, right? Pretty simple and easy. So that's how it works, peeps. That's how you can use Netlify. MD says, if you want, you can reach millions of people with your videos for YouTube. Why don't you do it? I already do. So maybe you probably haven't seen my analytics, obviously, but like if you check out my analytics, you can see just in the last year, we reached 25 million people through YouTube. So we reach a lot of people on YouTube. We reach millions of people. Bout says all is hosted on Cloudflare. Right. And then MD says send you connection request. All right. So that's basically how you can use this stuff. If you want to get help with SEO, check out the Black Friday deal that we have. So right now we have this Black Friday deal on. You can save 30% if you order SEO online. So you just click on this link in the comments description to the backlink portal. Click on the link. You can order online here. If you prefer a call first, you can book in a call first here. And then you can select whichever package you want. So for example here, you can select how many backlinks you want. So let's say, for example, you want 6 backlinks, DR30, and then just put in the coupon code. So for example, Black Friday here. Hit apply, and you'll save 30%. Or you can choose like the SEO starter package or whatever you want, right? And then you just check out below. So that is a Black Friday deal. It's only available until Black Friday, of course, and it's pretty simple and easy to order online. But yeah, the main thing I would say here is like, a lot of people watching this, they've probably got a website, but they're not getting traffic, right? And so if you've got a website and you're being outranked by your competitors who are sitting at the top of Google, getting all the clicks, all the attention, etc., all the new customers, and you're wondering, okay, what do they know that you don't? Well, that basically ends today, right? Because I'm showing you the SEO frameworks that are going to help you rank. And if you order here, you can get the SEO frameworks that work for me. And I've already shown you multiple websites that are getting traffic and getting and ranking on Google. So if you order online, you're going to get all of these different packages. You can just order on right here. You can save 30% off. Select whichever package works for you, as you can see, and then use the coupon code Black Friday to save 30% off. Right? Inside there, you're going to get a dedicated client portal so you can track everything in real time, watch your rankings climb, monitor your content calendar, review your backlinks, check your reports, etc. You just get complete transparency into everything that we do for you. You also get a personal account manager, so you're not alone in this. You get a dedicated point of contact who knows your business, answers your questions, keeps your campaign on track. You can jump on calls with them too. Also, if you order online, the good thing about ordering online is like normally it's $500 setup fee to cover competitive research, keyword research, content planning, link outreach, etc. But if you order online using the Black Friday sale, then you skip the setup fees. And the way that we figure out all of this is usually we reverse engineer your competitors, right? So we're going to look at what are your competitors doing, how can we learn from that, and then how can we implement it for your business as well. So you can order online, link in the comments description. And you basically have a choice right now. So you can keep doing what you're doing, keep publishing content that nobody sees, keep watching your competitors dominate Google whilst you're stuck on page 3, keep wasting time and energy on SEO that doesn't work, or you can let us build a proven AI SEO system for you, right? You can get rankings that bring you traffic, get a dedicated team managing everything for you. And the Black Friday 30% off discount ends November 23rd at midnight. So if you order now, you'll save the $500 setup fee. And if you want more traffic, more visibility, more customers finding you on Google, this is the moment that you can start implementing this, all right? So let's see what else we've got on the comments here. Any tips on how to keep your computer performance working whilst you run all your AI software? Yeah, just keep it minimal, close as much as you can. I'm using a MacBook M4. That seems to work pretty well. It's a MacBook Pro. But yeah, I would close multiple windows, just keep it all minimal. I'm actually going to close Google Antigravity now. And yeah, I would just avoid like using too much. And then also, if you're really struggling with coding locally, then just switch to coding online instead. So use the cloud. So for example, Bolt, Lovable, these tools work online and they don't require any sort of firepower from you and your laptop. Craig says, I built a CRM and inventory system for a company I work with within 2 days. The company's very happy. Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy stuff. What else we got here? Muller says his stuff seems to crash my laptop. Yeah, so you can just use, instead, what you can use is Bolt and Lovable, and they'll help you a lot more. Okay? Craig says it works great with Electron Windows, MSI packaging installation updates, and I can roll out updates as needed for the CRM. So there you go. You don't need a website. Yeah, there you go. And what else you got here? The majority of business owners and people at large have no idea how easy this is and how good this technology is right now. Yeah, that's why we created the AI profit boardroom, because a lot of people want to use AI, they want to learn it, but they have no idea where to start and they feel intimidated by the power of it, right? And so that's why we broke everything down into simple systems that work for me. So I test everything and then I release the systems online so people can just steal the process from me. And yeah, that's basically it. So thanks very much, everyone, for watching. Appreciate it as always. Like I said, check out the SEO Black Friday deal. And then we have a deal for AI Profit Boardroom as well. So you can save 35% off forever. You get weekly coaching calls. So you can jump on these calls live, ask help, ask for advice, etc. You get all of my best playbooks for AI and all the best systems that we have. And just an awesome community of 1,700 members where you can ask help, get advice, ask questions, and I answer this stuff personally for you as well. So feel free to get that link in the comments and description. What else we got here? Mulo says, do you think Grok 4.1 will prove superior to Gemini 3 over the long run? I actually don't. I tested out Grok 4.1. I just thought, this is one of the worst things I've ever used. Like, it was so bad. It was so bad. I think Gemini wins by a long way, and Gemini is just superior to everything right now. Same with Nano Banana. Nano Banana is superior. Veo 3 is superior. Like, Google have just created the best technologies in the world for all this stuff. And then Craig says OSS in the system is pretty bad. Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah, I don't think it's great at all with OSS. So yeah, appreciate everyone watching. Hope to see you on the next one. Cheers and bye bye.